Hello for the 19th Sunday in Ordinary Time. This is not going to be a homily today. I'm not preaching this weekend. A sister's coming in at St. Paul's to all three masses, English masses, and giving the, in quotes, homily for a mission talk. So I thought I'd do something different. And the reason is this. This weekend, August the 10th, we celebrate the feast day of St. Lawrence. And I would like to celebrate that by sort of giving a St. Lawrence homily. And it goes something like this. The only thing in the scriptures that's connected is the second reading from Hebrews toward the end, and that is Hebrews 11, 1 to 2, and verses 18 to 19, where it talks about Abraham, the man of faith, that he has so much faith that he's ready to sacrifice in a burnt offering his son Isaac. And he starts to do that, as you know the story, but then stops. But he's a great man of faith, willing to kill his son for the obedience to God. Well, this feast day of St. Lawrence is different insofar as he's not going to kill his son, or he's not going to kill anybody, but he is willing to be killed for Jesus Christ and be martyred for believing and teaching Jesus Christ. And then he's the one who's going to be burnt and roasted on a grill. And the grill, or the gridiron, is the instrument of how they killed St. Lawrence. Well, St. Lawrence was a early deacon in the early church and in Rome. And his task, or his service, was to take care of the treasury and the monies in the church. And he did that. And because of being a Christian, a Catholic, and preaching Jesus Christ to the poor and everybody in Rome too, he was martyred, burnt, roasted by the emperor's man. And it is sort of interesting because we don't know much about historical reality, but we do know something. Like, we don't know a whole lot about Abraham and all that history, but it's history. And we don't know a whole lot about Lawrence, which is much later, of course. And I have a little picture of St. Lawrence here. It goes like this. There we go. There he is. There's St. Lawrence. You can see the fire in his, right by his knees, the grill, the palm of martyrdom that he has in the book and so forth. But that's a holy picture of St. Lawrence. But I just find it interesting. Well, it's my patron saint. Do you know much about your patron saint? Well, I have a great book. Been using for years. It's I always go the opposite direction. Saint of the Day by this Foley out of Cincinnati, a Franciscan. And it gives a real quick synopsis of St. Lawrence's life. And I'm going to read it to you and then say a couple words. It says this. St. Lawrence died in 258, martyred. A well-known legend has persisted from earliest times about Lawrence. As deacon in Rome, Lawrence was charged with the responsibility for the material goods of the church and the distribution of monies and helps to the poor. When Lawrence knew he would be arrested like the Pope was killed, martyred also. When Lawrence knew that he too would be arrested like the Pope, he sought out the poor and the widows and the orphans of Rome and gave them all the money that he had on hand, selling even some of the sacred vessels to increase the sum. When the prefect of Rome heard this, he imagined that Christians must have a great big large amount of money and treasure, precious things. He sent for Lawrence and said, "Look, you Christians, you say we are cruel to you, but that's not what I have in mind. I am told that your priests offer services with gold utensils. The sacred blood is received in silver cups, and you have golden candlesticks at your evening services. Now, your doctrine says that you must render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, right? And these treasures, the emperor needs them to maintain his forces. God does not deal with money or make money. He brought none of it into the world. With him, only words, like the words of Jesus. Give me the money and the treasury, therefore, and you can go be rich with all your words, or the words of Jesus. Lawrence replied that the church was indeed rich. I will show you a valuable part of that church, that treasury. But give me a time to set up everything in order and make an inventory. After 3 days, Lawrence, gathered a great number of blind, lame, lepers, orphans, widows, persons, and put them in rows. And when the prefect arrived, Lawrence simply said, "Look, here, these are all the treasures of the church." How'd that go over? Well, the prefect was so angry, he told Lawrence that he would indeed have his wish to die, but it would be by inches. And so he had a great grill prepared with hot coals beneath it and had Lawrence's body placed on it. After the martyr had suffered the pain for a long time, the legend concludes, he made his famous cheerful remark, "I am done on one side, turn me over on my other side." Wild story. Legend. What really happened? But do you know anything about your patron saint? I just find mine's pretty doggone interesting. I don't know how much history and how much legend, but I just find it really interesting. And one of the interesting parts of this whole thing of St. Lawrence, you know how the church makes patron saints like St. Teresa, Sue was patron of the missions, and I think St. Paul's patron of salesmen. What's St. Lawrence patron of? Guess what? Chefs. One. Another, he's patron of comedians. Pretty good. I liked it. What's your patron saint? What are they famous for? What's their history? Legends. Lawrence certainly was humorous in the story. And now, chefs, that's the other weird thing. You know what I do every year? On the feast day of Lawrence, or as close to it as possible? Now, this is a little weird. I have a grilled steak in honor of St. Lawrence. Weird? Fun? I like it. But the bottom line is, once again, this deacon, this holy person, served the poor. He served the poor in the name of Jesus and was killed because of serving the poor and preaching Jesus Christ. And he did it in a not really a tasteful way, but I think they did it, and he did it in a humorous way. That's enough about this feast of St. Lawrence. I'm either going to have that one steak on Saturday night, but I think I'm going out to do something else. But I just bought 4 steaks, and we're going to have grilled steaks on Sunday night with 2 of my nephews and 1 of my cousins, and we're going down to Lake Cumberland. Hope your feast day of St. Lawrence's is going to be as much fun as mine. Have a good day.